Hello, this is another edition of The Curriculum, an investigative documentary series focusing on the disparities between public and private sector basic schools, their effort on academic performance, and the long-term consequences for Ghana. The curriculum is shown on Ghana television and has been made possible with the support of Star Ghana. The previous two episodes took us to Ho, the Volta regional capital, and one of 25 municipalities nationwide. The last time around, we focused on inclusive education, which is a concept that advocates the same quality of education for all pupils, regardless of their physical or mental capabilities or status. Inclusive education requires teachers who are empathetic to the condition of their pupils. Today, we look at facilities for children with disabilities. Education for children with challenges is of great importance to the physically challenged themselves, advocate for their rights, and wider society, since invariably there is a large number of people with such challenges, variously estimated to be around 15% of the populace. Another aspect of school infrastructure which has a profound effect on learning is lighting and ventilation. Poor lighting and ventilation increase discomfort for pupils. Bad lighting especially can have a deleterious effect on their eyesight as they can strain to see and read, and this can lead to complications in later life. Advocates and educational administrators state that bad design and construction are responsible, and there has been a clarion call for architects and other building industry professionals to design and construct disability-friendly buildings. Other stakeholders put the blame squarely at the door of local authorities, who they believe put cost-saving measures ahead at the needs of the pupils.
Some of the schools have this pigeonhole type of windows, which doesn't bring in light for those with low vision to see properly on the board. Others too, the writings by the teachers are smaller, so they sometimes find it difficult to read on the board. Some of the textbooks are not in a large print that some of them can read comfortably. Sometimes they have to fall on their friends, to assist them in having information from the textbooks. So these are some of the things that doesn't really help some of our blind and partially sighted persons, especially in the mainstream schools.
Even the lighting systems in the classroom is another issue in some of the schools, because if someone is having a low vision, for instance, or visual impairment in the class, and the arrangement of the lights also impact negatively in their performance. So all these things need to be taken seriously as a nation before we can say that we are taking the rights and needs of persons with disabilities seriously in Ghana.
I blame the District Assembly Planning Committee. They came with this honeycomb way of building classrooms, which was to be used as a preventive measure and then also as a window. So they were trying to cut down costs. But once they realized this is a problem, I think some schools are removing it and are making the ventilation better.
In some of the classrooms too, you can see that ventilation is very bad. The way these days they build some of the school buildings, they build without windows. So you see the place very dark. There's another village I visited some time ago. The whole place was very, very dark. So you ask yourself, how will these children learn? It is an item on the agenda for the Oversight Committee that we're going to push hard to ensure that the lighting is good.
I would suggest that in case a structure will be put up, they should also consult the optometrist, because we are taught of light ergonomics, the effect of light on studies. And now optometrists can be found all over Ghana.
One important thing that we can do, first of all, we must know the number of such people or students in the schools. Secondly, there should be that regular visit by the eye care department or the Ghana Health Service or the hospitals, so that can help to identify some of these children. Importantly, we need education. We need to educate people about some of these challenges.
Almost every week we have an outreach. We go to the schools and then we screen them. In fact, they are doing well in that direction. And so because of that, I can see that the incidence of myopia in Volta region, in fact, has actually come down. More so, when we go, we also give educational talks. And so the teachers are enlightened on some of these things. So if anything is going wrong, they also make the authorities aware, and then it is rectified accordingly. We even have some of the teachers as volunteers in schools, so that in cases of problems, they refer them to us and we address them accordingly. We also have Vision Center here. Those who need the glasses, it's very, very affordable. What's your name?
Isabella.
Isabella. How old are you?
4 years.
That's great. I want to examine your eye for you, okay? This one.
In Ghana, disability-friendly facilities require speed ramps for wheelchair access, smooth floors with no protrusion, and guardrails to serve as protective barriers for the unsighted. Indeed, many public buildings in Ghana are defective in this regard. So how do schools in the whole municipality stock up?
It's only the down floor, which is disability friendly, but the upstairs, no. The walkway to the veranda, and then they can just walk on the veranda, but entering the classroom, if they are in their wheelchair, I don't think they can go there. So I don't think it's disability friendly as such.
The schools shouldn't refuse admission of children with disabilities on the ground of their disability. It's illegal in Ghana now per the Person with Disability Act. So each school should rather encourage the parents to send their disabled children to school. Teachers need to have more information about how to identify and manage disability in the classroom. So if these assemblies especially can also keep to this work in a way of ensuring that public buildings are accessible for all, including persons with disabilities, then I know there's a future for us.
For schools to be approved, there should be these facilities. Now that we have physically challenged people, it is not all that much to just provide, as the parents, to provide 2 bags of cement, and they ask the children to bring cracked stones, and they will gather sand and make a walkway for the physically challenged.
For the physically challenged, until recently, attention was not on providing ramps. But as at now, we have made it a policy that any structure that we will put up fresh, we'll make sure those things are there. Our appeal is that as architects, they should incorporate all the needs, particularly the disability friendliness.
As an NGO, what we are doing is we are creating the awareness about the importance of education for persons with disability. We do this through stakeholders programs. We go on radio to talk about it. We raise awareness in churches because we realize that on Sundays a lot of people go to church, and it's a platform that we feel with the collaboration of the pastor we can, put across this need so that people will understand and support in promoting education for persons with disabilities. In Ho municipality, the information about inclusive education is a little bit high because there have been programs which was implemented by Equal, a project that USAID supported some years ago. And then we have the Church of Christ also came in with a lot of program and trainings. So I think because of that, there's this level of awareness. So we may say majority of the children are in school, but the problem is they go to school, but on the way they drop out because of the conditions, which is not favorable for them to continue the education. So we feel strongly that if we have enough resource teachers, materials are available for them to learn, like learning materials. Right now we have 3 children, totally blind children in the mainstream school. As our efforts to tell the world that implementing inclusive education can be possible, we have put in a pilot and we are doing it. As I speak now, we have 3 students in the mainstream school, 3 at Agove, 1 in Ho here. And they are there, and we have resource teachers who are assisting them. So if teachers will be around with the materials, I think most of our children will have access to education, and they will also enjoy a better living standard than what it is now. The Ghana Blind Union, with concerned groups that want to promote inclusive education, and with the support of Star Ghana, have drafted an inclusive education policy. They will present it to the Ministry of Education for onward process. So we hope by next year this policy will come to life, and with this to help for the smooth implementation of the inclusive education policy. The convention has come at the right time to promote our rights. So we want the government to ensure that the existing law that is there, which is not biting, should be made to be in line with the CRPD, because the CRPD talks about obligation. It has its principles, and it ensures that government is accountable to ensure that persons with disabilities have equal enjoyment of their rights on equal basis with others. So that's one thing that we would like the government to do, ensuring that the laws are made, some of the laws are amended so that it will enhance accessibility. Because when you talk about accessibility, it's not only the buildings alone. Accessibility to information. How do persons with disability or hearing impairment have access? I know GBC, you are doing well with this sign language thing, but how does it go down to the public schools and then public services like the police station, the hospitals? Who is there to sign for the hearing impaired person? Their problem is quite pathetic. So we ensure that all the training institutions, they should learn the sign language so that can effectively enhance inclusion of our marginalized brothers and sisters. As for the blind, I think the awareness is high, but what about our colleagues? And also those with learning disability, I want to hit there again. We need to develop different assessment formats for them, because if we put all of them and mix them all with the so-called, able children, then we are not doing good for them.
My advice first goes to the parents. Once you are a parent, you should be prepared to take responsibilities. You shouldn't wait till we take our children to school before their eyes are examined. More so, once every year, not only to the students or pupils, everybody is expected to examine the eye. To the students or the pupils, I would suggest that whenever they're having problems, they shouldn't be afraid to approach their teachers and let them know. When you are even putting up your own building or house, apart from the building expert that you see, try and consult some of these eye specialists in particular the optometrists. They can advise you.
Medical professionals, in addition, strongly advocate improved designs for school buildings as well as regular testing of eyesight by school children. In addition, advocates for people with various disabilities have called for a quantum leap in the approach to the teacher training. Their argument is that teaching personnel need to be sensitive to the needs of those with physical and other challenges. Their education must be approached holistically with infrastructure, attitudes, and curriculum, all taken into account in order to ensure full access of education for all. Poor conditions add to the challenge of disability in acting as a distinctive to education and compelling such pupils to drop out of school. Inclusive education, however, can help them to access quality education. The Ghana Blind Union, an advocacy group, and Star Ghana are pushing hard for inclusive education to be adopted as part of national education policy in accordance with the Convention of the Rights of the Disabled. Successful implementation will surely come as a welcome relief to pupils with challenges, not only in the whole municipality but elsewhere in Ghana. This has been another edition of the curriculum brought to you by the Ghana Broadcasting Corporation and Star Ghana.